Hi, a big warm welcome to you on this short webinar where we really explore the benefits of children learning creative experiences online. So I'm delighted to welcome Nicola Gillespie. Hi, Nicola.
Hello, I'm Nicola and I run the Creation Station in Nottingham North West.
And delighted to be joined with Alex Purton too. Hey, Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex Purton and I run Creation Station in Beckenham Hayes and Orpington.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us, ladies. And one thing we've really wanted to share with you today is just some of the innovations that we've developed during COVID and lockdown. Because we run creative experiences, obviously we've inspired about 1.5 million kids and adults since 2002. But a big area for us is making sure that kids are really unleashing their abilities and having that confidence to express themselves. And as we've gone on to online classes, we've actually seen new opportunities and new developments that we had never thought of doing before. So our Create Club sessions for 5 to 11-year-olds are typically ran in a school and in school workshops, and we've been able to go back to face-to-face classes in school. But during lockdown, we moved these classes online, and we also delivered these really cool, fun arty boxes with all of the products that the kids would need so that they could get creative at home. And even though we've gone back to face-to-face classes, because of the success and the feedback we've had from these online experiences, we're actually carrying on with them. So really giving parents and children that opportunity to choose what medium of learning suits them. But occasionally we do get asked, how do children really develop, with obviously a lot of questions around screen time and using computers, and are kids getting too much screen time? And one of our concerns at Creation Station is always thinking, are we delivering the highest standard of experiences to kids? And so we've done quite a lot of research on this recently, and I'm thrilled to share some of that insight with Nicola and Alex, who've been running a lot of really successful online classes. So Nicola, can you tell me a little bit about some of the feedback and benefits you've seen from practically, from running your practical sessions?
So one of the things that the parents and families have enjoyed, Sarah, is, like you said, actually having that craft pack delivered to their home. That has been a really special thing. The children have loved opening those. They come in our really great fab boxes. So actually opening those and even delivering them on the doorstep has been really exciting for the children. They'll come to the door and be excited to see what's in them for this time. So they're great because they have all the organised, structured materials in them with their week-by-week sessions, and they know which one to pull out for each week. So that's really well organised for them. One of the things that I think has developed as we've gone along is them enjoying having the sort of one-to-one interaction with us on the end of the screen. And really, I think we end up being a voice on the end of the screen, because the children are so engaged with what they're doing, not actually looking at the screen. They're listening to what we're saying. And they might need to look at the screen for a little while at times if we're showing them things, but mostly it's about listening to what we're saying and listening to each other. And that has been lovely, not having just the interaction with us as the facilitator, if you like. That's in effect what we're doing, just facilitating that session. But they talk to each other as well. And in my clubs, there are children from different schools who haven't met each other before, but they look forward to seeing each other each week during the sessions and having a chat and sharing amongst themselves. That's been really important for them.
I found that one of my parents actually said that she was going to sign her daughter up to the club. She'd been doing the club in school and she'd really enjoyed it. She never really spoke out. I had a large group of different age groups, all from the same school. And as a little year one, she was quite anxious to share her ideas with the year fives and the year sixes. But Mum said she was really keen to sign her up for the online club, because when she's sitting at her own dining room table or in the kitchen with Mummy or Daddy in the background, she forgets that there's other people there. And she's actually gone from being one of the quietest children in the club to a little chatty one who takes me on a tour around her garden and shows me other things she's done with Daddy's camera. So she'll trot off with the phone and say, I planted these sunflowers and I want you to see them. So she's really enjoying that one-to-one. And Mum said, with so much social distancing going on around her, where she can't get close to her teacher at school and she can't get close to other people, having me there, the other side of the screen, is almost like having me the other side of the table, and she's really enjoying that one-to-one interaction across the table. And it just, once you've started it, like we're talking now, once you've initiated it, their heads down and they're making it, and you find yourself saying, could you just look up for 1 minute while I show you? No, okay, then just carry on with it. If you're engrossed in it, that's fine. And as Vicky says, we really are the facilitators, like you would be in a classroom as a teacher, throwing the ideas out and then just giving those little prompts and those little nudges as and when they need them. And that's just been great to see. You just sort of sit back and think, they love this, they're doing it. And just chatting to you, as Nikki says, chatting about, oh, I'm just cutting this out, can you see me? And then you tip the screen and show you what they're doing. It's fabulous.
And I think you're right. One of the big things about CreateStation is not necessarily what we make, but how we make people feel. It's one of our strong values, and it is personable. It's not like watching a YouTube, because we're not saying this is how you make a glove puppet. It's about sparking their curiosity and allowing them to go on journeys of exploration and discovery. So I think that personable element of it has definitely come through really strongly on some of the 5-star reviews we've had on Trustpilot as well. Another area that you raised as well, Alex, was about really building confidence and independence in learning. And I think you've both had a lot of positive feedback in that confidence building, haven't you?
Definitely. I had a lovely email from one of my dads. They've been with me since April. They did the spring term school club, and then they stayed with me through the summer doing my weekly summer one as well. And a lovely email from him. They can't join me this term because unfortunately they've got to reserve their place in the school care club. So the night that they would love to be with me, but he said what he's loved doing is just sitting there watching her confidence growing and her independence. And they've made a little gallery of all her work in the garage. And it's all there on top of the freezer with a little board behind it. And everything she's made with me since January is there. They took me on a little trip into the garage the other day to show me. And she loves also bringing things to the sessions. So when we did a session on the Aborigines, she's sitting there with a didgeridoo that her uncle had brought back from Australia. She'd never have had that in class. And then another week we did Thailand, and guess what? They've got something from there. And every week it was, what have you got to show us today? And it was like a full show and tell. And she just got so confident with getting these things out and saying, oh, my uncle brought this, and I've got this. And his dad was just absolutely thrilled. So they can't wait for me to start again on a day when they can come because of their work pattern, and it's great.
Yeah. And of course, we haven't really mentioned, but all of the programs we do are themed around different educational elements, but very much about the child owning their learning. So unfortunately, I think Show and Tell in School has reduced a lot. It certainly isn't available now. But the fact that they can show you, anything that's been relevant, and certainly one of the things we talked about, confidence building activities after, carrying on with the activities afterwards, and being able to show you that. That's really extending concentration and creating hobbies. I think there aren't enough hobbies. We used to have loads of hobbies, certainly when I was little, and I think sometimes this idea of hobbies and being able to work independently, you don't necessarily always need to rely on other people, but to be able to go off and do something independently, create from an idea into something physical in your hand, especially when it can be displayed, is really boosts confidence as well, I believe.
Just a couple of examples of that, Sarah, in my club. In last term, when we made the models of a planet, 2 of the children in my club who are siblings, they went away and created a backdrop for that. They made a big screen that so they had it, they put the planet in context, they built little models of creatures that lived on that planet. They spent all week developing that theme. Another lovely example of how that works is yesterday when we were thinking about our own pets and making pet rocks. Well, all the children brought their pets to the screen. They all went and fetched them. So we had dogs, we had cats, and they were all sharing their pets on the screen. So that was really fantastic. And of course, they're all so proud to have their pet on the screen. So that was just really lovely. It makes it really personal to them. And you can see that sort of glow of, I'm so proud because my pet's got a little part of this as well.
Yeah.
So it's really lovely for that.
And that's so important for their well-being as well, because that is something that they can share. That, again, in school, there's no way they would have turned up with their rabbit or their guinea pig or their fish tank just to show you their pet. So this is their own special, I'm important, I've got something to share. And I think the other thing is that we've sort of already touched on, that we start them off on a task, and we're with them perhaps 45 minutes to an hour on our session online. But I don't get photographs from the parents perhaps for 3 or 4 days later, because it's taken 3 or 4 more days for the child to actually be happy to send a finished photograph through, because no, I haven't finished it yet, mummy, and I want to carry on with it. And actually, when we're in school doing it, they take it home, and it's almost like we've taken it home and it's a finished item, because we haven't got the materials anymore, and we're not there with Alex or Nicola or whoever anymore. But they kind of feel that you're still with them even when the session's finished. And I don't want you to send the photograph through yet for Facebook, because I haven't made it how I want to, and I've still got X number of beads and sheets of paper in my pack, so I want to use them all and carry on with it. And I think that's fantastic, because they're just really enjoying it. It's given them something else to do, perhaps on another evening or another day or a wet morning as well. And like you said, with hobbies, it's kind of inspiring another interest there.
Yeah, and because those packs are great, there's generally lots of bits and pieces left over to, great for recycling concepts as well, but really to spark that curiosity. But what else could you do? And of course, they know they're gonna see you next week. So proud to show, and
Absolutely,
and get that lovely feedback. I think the well-being, again, so important for kids, never more so than right now. I think you touched on this idea. We talked about family. At a certain age, I think 5, when your kids go to school, you never hear what they've got up to for the day. They're too tired or whatever when they come home, and you don't always just find out what they're up to. And having things you can do together can really bond families and give you things to do with them, which is just really good for conversations and general well-being as well. And I think we were talking earlier about some of the benefits that families have come back to you and said it's been really helpful to have the classes actually in the house, because they've been able to get involved.
So the siblings have got involved as well. So even if it's the 6 or 7-year-old or the 9-year-old or whoever has signed up, the little sibling, I've had a 2-year-old sibling sitting there in the high chair, and you sort of say, oh, what's that noise? And mum turns the camera around, and the little one's sitting there, and they're doing their own thing. Okay, they're not doing the same as us, but they've got the same materials, and they're banging around, and they're painting. And she said, oh, we're all doing it today. And another little girl who said, my daddy's sitting doing this. And I said, oh, is daddy going to show us his work? And she said, no, but I will. And suddenly daddy's work appears on the screen. And I think it's great, because when you're at school, they haven't got that, and you're not interacting with the parents either. You're handing them over at the end of the club, it might be raining and they're under umbrellas, and it's like, there's your mummy, bye-bye, see you next week. But this way, I've really got to know these families as well, and their siblings and their parents. I think it's been a fabulous experience for me as well, to actually get to know not just the child, but the child in context.
Yeah.
I think this works, Sarah, for different family circumstances at home as well. So in my current group, we have a little boy who had his grandma doing it with him. They've just started this time round, and at the end of the session last week, grandma said, oh, I've really enjoyed this. This is great. I can't wait until next week. And having spoken to her again yesterday about our adult crafting sessions, she said she doesn't do crafting. It's not what she does, but she's really enjoying doing these sessions with Harry, because that's some time with him, helping him, supporting him, you know, doing the things. She doesn't actually do the craft with him, but she's enjoying having that experience with him. I have another little boy whose sister helps do it because mum and dad are working. They're in the house, but she helps him. And then another family who mum and dad do it with the two siblings. And mum's described that as quality family time for them. So I think it's something that can work dependent upon circumstances and who's there. Some children will do it completely independently and just get on with it. So it's something that's really flexible depending upon how you want to meet that as a family. And again, that's what's great about it.
Ladies, I think you're both doing incredible things in your online groups, as we are right across the UK. We've still got our face-to-face in schools, if schools are allowing clubs back in. So if somebody would like to find out about signing up to a club, simply come onto our website and pop in your postcode. If you can't see a club, if you just email inquiries@thecreationstation.co.uk, we can direct you to one of our online clubs. So one of the great things about online is it actually doesn't matter where in the country you are. You can make friends right across the globe even, but certainly across the UK. We hope you found this helpful. And no matter what happens in the future, what we know is that creativity will make us all feel a little bit better. So together, let's do all we can to keep safe and to keep well. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks, Nicola and Alex, for your time. Keep safe, look after yourselves. All the best.